we'll start off with this real easy. How do you three feel about being here at Oklahoma City at the Horror Con with all these amazing fans?
I'm honored to be here.
Yeah,
Thank you for having us.
I'll start off. I will break the ice for you guys. I'm only going to go to 3, so you better start lining up, okay? I'm going to ask them 3 really easy questions. They'll be basic, all right? So you guys get to the meat and the juice of this. This is what this is about, is you guys, all right? How did it feel to be a part of Terrifier?
That's so broad.
Because in the moment, I think we were just...
In the moment, it felt cold.
It just felt very cold.
I think the firm Terrifier 2 is very, very cool.
Also,
Okay, nice. I'm glad they're
it's also very cold. It seems to be like a theme.
You know what? Actually, for Terrifier 3, for Jonathan, I was just filming on like a college campus, and it was warm.
I think you guys really went in a different direction.
He was like, we're going to get experimental.
Because
I'm sure there's
must be nice. The first one we shot in an actual abandoned building, so that location is not. There was no set dressing. It was just like that. There were used condoms. There were used needles. It was disgusting.
Why anyone would want to, consummate their relationship in such a place is beyond me.
I hope they're happy. I hope they're in love.
There was two condemned locations. That one and then the one on Staten Island that I think.
Oh, that's right.
Like to meet.
Where I got my head cast done.
Yeah.
We exclusively met in condemned locations.
Just to keep the stakes high.
Yeah. But so that building we're making all these jokes about it being cold because that building had no power and no heat and no plumbing. So Katie and I got very close because we spent a lot of time huddled around the one small space here, physically close.
Very close.
And we were shooting nights, so it was 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So it was not what I would call pleasant, but it's worth it because you all love it. So totally worth it.
That's awesome and messed up all at the same time.
Those are the perfect adjectives.
Okay, if each of you could pick the part that seemed to be the most frightening in the moment for you personally, what would that have been during the filming of the film?
To film or to just watch?
That's a good question too. I feel like you could just pick either one of those because I feel like it's kind of the same thing.
Honestly, personally for me, the one that I remember the most getting me good was at the premiere of Terrifier 3, I was eating popcorn, which was a dumb mistake, especially for watching Terrifier. And it was the rat scene. I have really bad OCD, and I can't imagine having rats and 2 put down and also throw up. It's not a good combination. That would not be fun.
Did you finish the popcorn?
I had to put down the popcorn. I was actually feeling a little sick watching that. I was like, wow.
Did you know that was like part of it, that was in there, or like had you was it a surprise when you saw it?
There was a lot of, so basically I was watching premiere was my first experience seeing it.
Yeah.
So, and I never saw that exact scene, so it was a new experience for me.
I was terrified all the way through the making of Terrifier for my safety. many times. The first time, Jenna met in a condemned building and to get her husband. When we did my body cast, I got glued to a table, so that was kind of scary. But my dog is moving out. That's what this is. I had cameras, that was kind of scary. And I just remember Phil being like, "We're gonna have to call the fire department. We're gonna have to call the fire department." And I didn't know why because I was like, "We're lighting me on fire too? I'm already stuck here. This seems like a strange solution." And I think filming the hacksaw scene was really dangerous and really scary. So I think that, but I think I was more frightened leaving that location because David and I were on the Staten Island ferry. There was no water, so I am still pink from blood, and he is still black-eyed. And we were just sitting on the ferry, going home. I think I was mostly just terrified, it was going to be really hard to get a cab.
So a really cool piece of trivia in terms of watching like, parts of the movie. So she and I were both on our first studio films at the time, and so Terrifier had a schedule around us. And so that scene where I'm watching her die, we are not actually in the same room, and those were filmed at completely different times. So my first time seeing that was also watching the movie. And yeah, thank you for your service.
That's awesome. I'm not seeing a line. This is the last one. All right.
Who's going to be first? Break the seal. Hey! Give it up!
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I just have to say, my wife, who's right there, she's wonderful.
I like
She, before we met, she'd never wanted to watch a horror movie ever. And yesterday she said, I want to watch Terrifier.
I'm so sorry.
Are you still married?
She like fell in love with it right away. She doesn't like the gore, but she got it. So my question is for each of you, what do you think it is about Art the Clown and the Terrifier series that makes the gore not so I want to throw up, and more just like, this is gross, but I'm smiling at the same time?
I think it's honestly, I think there's a lot of just twisted humor in it.
Yes.
And of course, and David and Damien, the way they add like fun scenes where it's crazy, it gets gory, it gets brutal, but then you look at Art and he's got a smile on his face. He's just having fun, he's just having a good time. And honestly, also, I think people just want to see just crazy films right now. Truthfully.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's such an interesting thing because like we never expected anyone to get it, you know.
We didn't expect anyone to watch it.
At all, at all. And so I think like we've had to like sit with it for a while, and as I've sat with it over the last almost decade now, I think like what I think Damien does really well, at least in the first film, is that it's very much an homage to those like 80s slashers that we all love, right? The characters, the way that it's set up, he like taps into these tropes and these archetypes, the way it's colored, like the whole thing.
Very gritty.
Yeah, but I think what he does that is so interesting is every established story trope that is in those films, he completely flips on his head and does the complete opposite. So it's like, you think there's going to be this final girl. Spoiler. There's not. Like, you think he's going to cut away. He doesn't. You think it's a slasher, and then the like slasher villain pulls out a gun. Like,
Spoilers.
Spoilers. I don't know if you've seen it. But I think, and I know that can be very divisive, but I do think that's like a really interesting choice, and I think that's maybe, I still have no idea what you, so grateful to you all, but I have no idea what you all saw, and thank you. But, so I think like, you know, maybe that's it. I'm still trying to figure it out as we go along, but I'm so grateful that you've all figured it out, because I'm still learning.
Thank you.
Good question.
My question is for you, Kevin. I guess I just want to know how you felt with your attachment to the character from surviving from 2 to 3 and then getting an off-screen death on the 3rd.
Okay. Honestly,
Spoiler.
Honestly, I like the way that the arts kind of like flip between me and Sienna. Like in the Terrifier 2, we are like, I'm trying to convince her, Art the Clown's real. She's like, oh, no, I don't believe you. And then she ends up being wrong. Part 3, she's trying to convince me. I'm like, no, you're crazy. That was all, I'm trying to get my life together and everything. I think that's one of my favorite parts about the big difference between Jonathan and Terrifier 2 and 3. And how I felt about the whole crazy end scene, honestly, if that's the way I go out, I've been hearing a lot of crazy theories, especially also at this convention, thanks to all of you. I'm honestly honored. Like they were saying, usually they show everything, and for that scene, if that is the way Jonathan goes out, that's a crazy twist, especially in Terrifier. And then right after there's the sword, there's the chainsaw, we have Sienna eating through guts, like just craziness. So if that is the way Jonathan goes out, then either way, I'm thankful. What do y'all think? Do you think I'm dead, you think I'm alive? Alive? I guess we have to see.
Well, thank you. Thank you for it.
Thank you.
I don't know if I'm alive right now.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Janet and Catherine. I told Art last year that I wanted to be David. That I wanted to be one of Art's victims. I wondered what it was like being killed by Art.
Oh.
The motherfucker's a cheater, is what I think. You can't trust him to play fair. So that's my advice. Don't bring a 2x4 to a gunfight.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
question.
you. Just rip it out. You got
I don't know, I can't.
Squeeze that, yeah?
Thank you. Okay, my question is for everyone. What are your personal favorite scenes from any of the movies?
My favorite is the Pizza Cafe scene.
I agree. I like that.
I love that scene. It is so unsettling and there's so much tension and it's the most fucked up meat cute I've ever seen. And I really love how simmering it is and how you can just feel that something's going to happen but nothing really does.
There's also like a banger song in it that we discovered
Yeah.
like last year. We didn't know. We didn't know this. Like, who is this Susie and the Banshees? Like, what is this song? It's a really good song. Whoever that is, shout out to that one. Yeah, it's good.
Honestly, I would say because it was a lot of fun, I have two specific scenes. My favorite scene in the film, Terrifier 3, personally, was when I just simply flipped my dresser and destroyed everything. That was very, like, I don't know, that was like therapy. I got to just destroy it. That was fun. And then also, I'm a huge practical effects nerd. So when I got to shoot the shotgun in Terrifier 2, I don't really get bloodied up much, so I didn't really get to experience much practical effects. But the shit was done in Art the Clown, like,
You got a lot of range to work with. I understand.
I had a little bit of fun. I had some fun with that. But to watch, definitely the pizza scene. I was a huge fan of the first film before I auditioned for part 2.
Aw, thank you.
So seeing that, there's definitely a lot of tension in those scenes.
I think it was more like heated too. And I think we got no food. Like we got pizza.
We did. That was originally, fun fact, that was originally supposed to be a burger place, but we were vegetarian at the time, so it changed to a pizza place. And now all three of us are vegan, so I guess if we made it now, it would have to be like a Kale Me Crazy or something. A 24-hour quinoa spot.
In the afterlife. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
I could take some quinoa.
We're just eating peanut butter straight out of the jar in hell.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good question.
Besides your own kill scenes, what's your favorite kill scenes?
Definitely, like I was saying earlier, the rat scene, just because it made me feel, it got to me. And I've grown up watching horror movies, and I've seen so many kill scenes. That one actually made me sick. The rumors are true. You could get sick, possibly even throw up watching Terrifier.
You might waste popcorn.
Yeah.
Wasted popcorn.
Real tragedy.
It was good popcorn too.
I believe it.
Movie popcorn is like the best. Like
It
a
is.
specific flavor, you can waste it.
I mean, I don't think it gets much better than The Legend right here. Can't imagine a better death than that. Or better is not the right word. You know what I mean. Don't at me.
I think I will say I think I'll return that. I'll embrace that and send that back to you.
Thank you. Received.
I mean, but I think also just because it's like really unexpected, and one of like the coolest things about that is Jenna is a really badass stunt performer. She doubles for some really incredible people. She drives. She does like she is incredible. And I think that was like the early days of that. Like Jenna choreographed all of that work leading up to the death and the fight and everything like that. So I think that's
Thank you. I mean, talk about practical effects. We were so lo-fi at the first one. We were making the whole thing for 2 dimes that it was basically I had these prosthetics on my face and we wrote rubber tubes underneath the prosthetics, and then Damien is 2 feet away blowing blood through the tubes to make it squirt out of my face. Really, really high advanced stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so what's so bad about the rat scene? That was so peak. I was like laughing so hard. Like, especially the chainsaw scene when he pushed up his ass. It was so funny.
Spoiler.
All of you seen.
Just tell me, like, what's so bad about the rats just hanging from the
What's bad about it?
Stop rat hate.
You know what? Honestly, I think it's also just the tube and then he hammers it down.
That's the
for
best
a while.
part.
That's the best part.
Stop with the rat.
I don't know. I also have.
Justice for rats.
I love rats too. They're cute. I also got a long neck too. I can almost feel it. I mean, I felt it watching it, and to have a tube and rats crawling out, it's just, I've got like the worst OCD.
I mean, my sister, when I was watching her, she really had to get up early. I was just sitting there like,
I love that your question is just what's wrong with you.
Well, I'm glad you could enjoy it.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Good question.
Excellent question. I asked that of all of us.
Hi guys. Hello. Love your work, by the way.
Love your work.
Thank you. I'm trying really hard. So, out of all the deaths in any of the movies, my favorite is yours, Jenna. And
thank you.
I don't know what it is about Art, but just when he pulls that gun out and just the look on his face, it's just so impactful to me. It just left an impression. I just wanted to know if it left an impression on you guys.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and also thanks for the love about the stunt stuff. I love doing stunts. It's one of my favorite things. I agree. There's something unique about it because, like Elliot mentioned earlier, art is always having fun and very goofy and joyous and ridiculous. And there's something about when he realizes that I'm about to beat his ass and win.
Yes,
He suddenly gets very serious, and it's not fun for him anymore when he's not winning. And so there is like a weird tonal shift that happens that is really impactful. But I agree. I think the amount of times he shot me was probably unnecessary. It felt a little personal.
It was.
Yeah.
Doesn't do things like subtle. It's not.
You're right. He's not being nuanced. No.
Thank you guys so much.
Definitely not an impression.
Yeah.
Question for all of you. Do you think you would survive a slasher movie in real life?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I would simply have pissed in the street. I would not go into an abandoned building to pee. I would have just done it right there.
I didn't realize that's what you were talking about.
Unrelated, I will piss in the street.
I will alarm the killer.
I don't know if you've seen this movie.
And pee.
Because we could have avoided all of this.
That's very true. I always forget that.
If we had A, I could have just taken a cab home.
That's true.
B, if I had just peed in the street.
Was Uber a thing?
Oh, was it?
Maybe.
We're also in Trenton, New Jersey, so I don't know if anyone would have gotten this.
But I think, to be fair, let's get very real. You've all seen and maybe even met David. In a fair fight, that man against any of the women in these films does not stand a chance. And he knows it, and it's okay. We give him the opportunity to live out the fantasy.
Now, I know I'm very aware, I'm a scrawny nerd, but the thing that would probably get me out of it was that I would probably just run and not look back. And I think that would be the key. And that's how I think, honestly, Jonathan even made it through Terrifier 2. The only thing is I think I would have followed the exit signs, and I would be running in the forest and not looking back.
And maybe pee.
I mean, but have you seen those like the really stupid videos that people make where they're like characters in slasher movies and they're like falling and they're running slowly and they're stopping to wash the dishes and like, oh my God. You would not make that
You
mistake.
can't leave
I
without
would.
washing the dishes.
Yeah,
You can't
no.
That's
Just you don't want them to find your body and your house is a mess. Embarrassing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
fan of the franchise. I really enjoyed all of your performances. You know, although I will say, Elliot, I'm terribly sorry. I had no idea Terrifier 3 was a movie until a few weeks ago. Actually, I must have skipped it. Like Terrifier 2 was just on my radar like a few years ago, and I guess it just flew right over me. I just never noticed.
Looks like you got another fun movie.
That's what I'm
I know,
thinking.
we've
Yeah.
given so much away for you, so I'm so sorry.
No,
It's okay,
no.
I didn't even know these were movies.
I mean, my buddy might have spoiled a bit of it, so it's not terrible. You know, I guess just my question is, whenever I first saw Terrifier, it wasn't right when it came out. It was a good maybe a year or two after, and it was so strange. You know, it felt like wrong or like forbidden to watch that movie with just how with how it didn't just cut away and with all the shifts in tones and the crude humor in there. It felt really foreign to me at the time with like other slashers I saw. And I feel like that movie kind of simmered in me a little bit because I wouldn't have expected a Terrifier 2 and the reaction that movie actually ended up getting. So I guess my question is just, do you think like the audiences have changed, or do you think like Terrifier itself really just changed the whole horror movie scene with how people want to go see those movies?
That's a good question.
I honestly believe that the horror community itself is incredibly loving. So, and there's not much like, so a lot of these films that we see now today, they have hundreds of millions of dollars that go into promo and advertisements. Terrifier is just simply word of mouth. So I think it's the fact, I honestly think I don't think the audience changed. I think it's just becoming more and more passionate, and it's like I'm sure y'all do, and everyone else here, when you see a fun film, you gotta watch this. This is crazy. It's simply just word of mouth, and honestly, I'm thankful for all of you. Seriously.
Well, the nature of social media now is so much different than it used to be, and I think that makes word of mouth a completely different game. It's easier, it's more impactful, and you can reach a much wider audience that way. That's a big part of it.
I think it's also like kind of the great equalizer, right? Like, a lot of times I always, we often recognize is like in our other work, we have to like explain what this is, because in a lot of the more, it's almost like this is part of the mainstream now, so it's almost weird to say that, but like the more like mainstream like, studio films, or like when you're taking meetings with like agents and managers, things like that, they just don't like, they kind of, it's an interesting thing, is like the horror community has always kind of been like the forgotten stepchildren of cinema, in that like it doesn't get the respect that a lot of like other genres do, other than the money that it makes.
Yeah.
And like it's so wild because it's like so you guys are so fiercely loyal that like statistically horror films do 3 times their budget at the box office, which is like a wild number that means like bigger studios haven't been able to kind of crack yet. And I think now with like the giant successes that you're seeing financially with films like Terrifier and a lot of other indie films, you're seeing the studio system trying to crack that themselves, and they're just not quite able to yet, because what they don't realize is like they don't have yet is like the heart and like the organic passion that you guys bring to it, and they don't, and like so their formula of like having to check all these boxes doesn't quite matter to you guys, and so we can continue to make this stuff and it just gets bigger and bigger. And I think as the studio systems are trying to tap that as well, those of us who have been there since the beginning will just continue.
Some of it is also timing too, because my favorite horror film of all time is John Carpenter's The Thing. And talk about practical effects. That's the godfather of practical effects. It's incredible, it's insane. And it flopped when it came out, because of when it came out. It came out like right after E.T., I think, and so like no one wanted, everyone was like, but we love aliens, are so cute. And John Carpenter's like, are they? So like, some of it is just timing and just a flash in the pan of when something happens to hit and happens to catch on and to resonate. Like wildfire.
It's also really interesting, and I can talk about this for a second, but like I wrote about it for Fangoria, if you guys want to check it out, so I'm a huge nerd of the thesis on the horror history, because I'm a nerd.
We're all nerds. We're all just different flavors of nerds.
One of the things that's so interesting about that is like the films that were like the most popular films at those times like really reflect what was going on like socially in the world. So like you see this kind of like pendulum swing based on what's happening. So you see like slashers become more popular, like practical effects and gore and stuff. A lot of times when there's like a lot of like civil unrest in periods like that where you're surrounded by violence in general or war in general, the genre that is like the dubbed torture porn, which a lot of times people would call Terrifier films, that became popular as a response to like the Iraq War and 9/11. And One Time Per Day, that's when the soft films really became like a cool thing. So I think you also start to like, I think right now we're in kind of a similar period where there's a lot of atrocities in the world, and I think people use horror as a way to process that in a safe space, because when the lights come up, you know, you're even though you feel all those feelings, you're purged from that, and like you're moving this like safety net for something.
You're so smart. Thank you for standing there while we all wrote thesis.
It's no problem. You guys are very lovely. Thank you.
You're lovely.
Thank you.
I forgot where I was at for a minute. I was over there. I was like, wow.
Hey, you're on stage, bro. People are looking at you.
So I actually haven't seen the first movie or the third movie, and I need to finish the second movie.
That's chaotic.
I started with number 2. I started number 2, and then I couldn't finish it because the scene that got me, out of all of the scenes in Terrifier, the scene that got me was the scene in the school with the possum. So I'm just curious what it was like filming that specific scene, because yeah.
It was fun. That was, I think the first real blood I ever got with, well, not real blood.
I was about to say.
First blood I dealt with in all Terrifier. I was very nervous because when you bloodied up, and the shirt and the outfit bloodied up, they only had one take to do that, to throw the possum on me. And so it's my very first film. I don't want to mess up. I'm also very clumsy. I don't want to drop a possum or something.
Possum.
If I had a nickel, I'd jump and drop the possum by accident.
So yeah, I was very nervous, but it worked out, and we got it in the one take. And it was also very interesting to watch them do the takes where they were just having fun playing with the possum, because there was a lot that didn't actually make the film. They were doing all sorts of different fun things. It was cool just to see, you know, David and Amelie work. It was interesting. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let us know when you watch the rest of them.
Elliot, quick question for you. Would you ever consider Terrifier 3 a Christmas movie, even though it's more horror than Christmas?
Definitely. I'd probably be watching it this Christmas.
It's
Die Hard.
classic. I don't know about you guys, but that and Black Christmas and
Die Hard, Terrifier 3.
Yes, Saturday Night, Deadly Night. All my lineup with my family, my grandmother.
I mean, once again, I'm a huge horror fan, so I always find myself watching horror movies on Christmas time, alongside, you know, the Charlie Browns and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. But you have Christmas art on your shirt. He gets festive, right? He likes to have fun, even though it's, you know, not about giving. It's more about, you know, it's all about art.
Taking horror.
Yeah. I think he's having a lot more fun for himself. He's not really, you know, Christmas is a giving holiday. Yeah, definitely. I would say it's a Christmas film.
Thank you.
When you think about Christmas as a concept, the like idea of a strange man breaking into your house is kind of a horror movie in itself. Maybe it's because I didn't grow up celebrating Christmas, so now I think it's so fascinating.
When last year, Jenna, fun fact, Jenna and I, because we're inseparable in real life too, and we went to Spain together, and taking Jenna to Catholic churches and her commentary on Jesus, crying.
Fascinating.
My question is kind of like a general question for both of you. It's, I guess, in retrospect, how does it feel to be attached to core franchise in the same vein as like the original Evil Dead in terms of like shoestring budget, and the original is a massive colorful, not colorful,
No, we're starting to go. Don't talk about it. Yeah.
This is all an initiation. I don't know if you drank that juice we gave you all.
Thank you. I mean, I think it's an honor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's such a wild experience to be part of something like from the jump to like to see it. Like when you guys say that, like an iconic franchise, and like that's still wild. Because like I said, like we never thought anybody would watch this.
Yeah. I mean, when you guys made 2 and 3, you knew people could watch these movies. Like we genuinely just thought we were making an indie film, and like we've both been a part of so many films and so much television, and like you just never know what's gonna pop. And so okay, we just didn't think it would be this.
The funny thing is, like, too, like, and I'm sure, I don't know if you probably had similar conversations with your reps at the time, where it's like, you're on these giant studio films, like, with huge, like, casts, like, you know, like, Academy Award nominated cast. And they're like, what are you doing? Like, we don't have time to add this extra thing in here. And nobody, I mean, like, people talk about those films, but it is not in any stretch the same way as this. So, like, I'm just so, like, you're
My very first goal, getting into acting, my number one goal was to actually just simply be in a horror film, let alone Terrifier. So, like all of you, it's an absolute honor. And also, it gives me an existential crisis every once in a while. I can't believe any of this is happening. It's insane. I mean, Stephen King is awful.
Yeah. I think like at any time like it gets like that, like I'm just like blown away. And I don't think there's ever been a moment where we've ever been like, oh yeah, this is normal. Like, you know, like it's cool, and it's an interesting thing to have to explain to our families.
Yeah. My mom. I remember my mom being like, "Sorry, your face is tattooed on someone's body, on more than one person's body." Why?
It's not allowed to watch. So
No, my family hasn't seen it.
They don't know. My mom calls it the terrorizer. The terrorizer.
Yeah, my parents saw. I showed them the pizza cafe scene, and they were like, "This is scary." I was like, "We're gonna stop now." That's all you get to see.
Thank you, and I'm so happy for your success.
Thank you so much. I wouldn't be successful if you guys weren't watching it and loving it.
So what did y'all get to bring home any like special memorabilia from the set? What's like your favorite thing that you got to take?
Trauma.
Yeah, so this is, it's a simple one. I have more at home, and a lot of actually, Jonathan's bedroom in Terrifier 2, a lot of the posters were my actual posters in my bedroom. So I had to take them back with me. But this was Jonathan's phone case in Terrifier 3, and I never took it off. And I don't think I was supposed to keep it, but I did it anyway. So.
That's something I just realized when you pulled that out, because I was like, I don't think I have that much, but I do have the phone case because it was my actual phone with like the little Metro card and my mother's company. She had this little like the phone thing to put back with
Oh yeah, that's right.
because I was like,
it's in the movie.
Yeah.
Free advertising. It's a terrorizer.
And also, I have this little eyeball that was not in the movie, but it was in Damien's kid.
Oh yeah, you had a bunch of eyeballs.
Yeah, I have that, and my dog is in the movie.
Yeah, there's a picture of her in the movie.
Yeah, she is. She is in the movie. She was on set, and so I have her.
Immortalized. We're not doing them at this convention, but when we do costume photo ops, the costume that I wear in those is the actual costume that I wore in the film. And it's somehow in one piece. And I always forget how short it is until I put it on again.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. So I was wondering, what was your reaction to how Terrifier went from just going after Jonathan and his sister to blowing up a mall full of kids?
Spoiler alert.
Honestly, I just once again, I like the fact, even though it is brutal and crazy, I just like the fact that Damien can step over boundaries. He just barely, well, it's insane. It's crazy. I don't know if I have anything else other to say. It's pretty wild. I do think he also goes pretty nuts in Terrifier and Terrifier 2. But an explosion, it just really, I think it puts into perspective how big these films are getting and how crazy they're getting. And how the fans just want to keep seeing more and more, and how they're going to top it, and how they're going to do the next film. And I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive, that explosion wasn't in the mall, but they did do a real explosion somewhere else, and I saw the video of it, and it's pretty wild. It's just getting crazier and crazier.
Right, the next one's going to be a musical, right? Or like art on ice.
What I would kill to see Phil Falcone dance in a movie. The money I would spend to see him sing and dance.
Thank you.
Hello. You guys have mentioned this a few times. I was wondering, if you could talk about the special effects and what it was like to film in them and all the prosthetics and stuff.
Yeah, I talked a little bit about my death, but there was also, and we briefly mentioned when the first time I met Damien was to get my head cast made for my decapitated head that shows up later. And like she said, I met Damien in a different creepy abandoned building on Staten Island.
He only takes me.
Yeah, that's exactly. And that was how we met. And the head cast that I did involved I could only breathe out of my mouth. My eyes were welded shut and I couldn't see anything. And my mouth is stuck in one position while they do essentially paper mache on my face. And so my mouth was filling with saliva and I was basically waterboarding myself and drowning in my own spit. And it was basically a trust exercise because that was the first time I ever met Damien, and I do not recommend doing that ever. But it turned out pretty cool. It is funny though, because at one point when I'm dead, you can tell that it's not me because my hair is suddenly rapidly grown. So look for that next time you watch.
I think one of the things that's kind of cool about it is, so when I did Terrifier, I've already done this horror comedy called Return to the High that was in Canada. It was very based in practical effects as well, so I was kind of already familiar with it. Actually, the whole reason I even got to know Damien was the effects artist on that. Damien had apprenticed under. He's doing his little events and things like that. So, so one of the things that I would start to do, having done a few of these types of life casts and body casts, I would keep the body parts, and not the rubbery ones. When they do a life cast, this is really nerdy, so bear with me. But when they do the body cast, they cast your body, right, and they fill it with plaster. So it looks kind of stones, and then they can build on top. They can make it. It's they make a positive to make another negative, if that makes sense. And so the plaster things look like stone. So I would keep hands and chests and feet, and put them in my plants as very Grecian, And but now the way that they do that, and everyone has their own methodology. By and large, the way that they do that now is not by casting your actual body; it's a body scan. So it's they take scan around you with the camera and they do a 3D rendering of you.
They take basically 300 photos at the same time. You get a tunnel, and you're surrounded by cameras that all go off at the same time.
Yeah. So the last 2 projects I've done where that's been necessary, that's how they've done it. And so there's no need for the plaster anymore. So it's so sad. Oh, my body. I was really hoping one day I could have a house with a really weird bird bath or something, and you can't do that anymore. So I don't know. That's a cool thing about the process. I think that it makes sense. It's easier and it's more detailed to do that.
And you have more options. But I do love that aspect of it. I remember going into the effects studio of the people I worked with, Bob Kurtzman, who's an effects legend on The Bye-Bye Man. And I walked into the room and I was looked at the wall, are those my tits? And they weren't. They were my tits framed and hanging on the wall.
I just got my tits back from
oh, congratulations.
I know, I have them.
Where are your tits gonna go?
I don't know, I'm trying to figure it out in my house where it doesn't look weird. But like,
Not her best.
but not her, but she gave, I'm sorry, Lisa, amazing. She does a lot of the Law and Order, like stuff, so she like in her studio, she has like Ice Cube, and she had like Ice Cube's head and like my tits. I feel like I can't take credit for these, like these are just like God-given. I was like compliments on them, so I'm giving them back. So now I have the plaster of them, but like that is hard to like, it's hard to put that in a plant. You know, and I don't know.
We'll workshop it.
We'll workshop it.
brainstorm.
I also feel like people will come to my house and be like,
Is that Ice Cube?
is that Ice Cube in your plants? Does he have breasts?
Luckily, I didn't really get too bloodied up, except for just a few cuts and stuff. So maybe I just got a little lucky then.
For now.
For now.
Guys, we're gonna let the nun be the last question here. So.
The nun is the closer.
But after that, though, we're gonna all come together. We're gonna get a cool group picture because we love each other.
Hi guys. You can choose another horror icon to do a crossover film. Or who would you choose?
Like art versus
Like, does
like.
it have to be like a villain or?
Well, fighting each other. Yeah.
That's a good question.
I think art versus like one of the monsters in Alien. I think. But you know.
I would say art versus Jaws. That's what I want to see.
I would be, I mean, the original Texas Chainsaw is like my favorite horror movie of all time. So it'd be pretty cool to see art versus Leatherface.
That would be really cool. Art versus Darth Vader.
Oh.
I don't know if that's
No.
First off, hi.
Hello.
Love your guys' work.
work.
So I am a huge fan of all four movies, but the first Terrifier is my favorite. I consider All Hallows Eve is the first one.
Oh, I was confused.
Wait, so All Hallows Eve is your favorite?
No, Terrifier.
Okay, thank you. Good.
Just clarify.
The hacksaw scene is like iconic to me. It is one of my favorite death scenes in all of horror. What was your
I was doing the
guys'
drag queen quiet.
What was your guys' thoughts when you were going through the script and you were planning that particular scene? Because it seems like very intense with both of you. And so I just wanted to know where you guys were at and how you went about it.
I mean, well, Damien came to my neighborhood to talk to me about it before we did it. I don't know, I just wasn't that phased. I don't really know what that says about me as a human being, but I was like, oh yeah, okay, no, whatever. Like, I just like didn't like really think about it. And I think mostly when we got there, and I think you have to remember, it was like so low budget, and all of us were so early in our careers that there was just a lot of stuff that like we had to kind of figure out in the moment that was definitely like a little bit scary. And I think there was a lot of like anxiety and fear like going through my head just because it's like, can I even trust these people that I now like spend so much of my time in life with, you know, but in like early days of that. So there wasn't like, I wouldn't say there was like a lot like mentally going through my head other than like actually surviving what
I was gonna say there's a lot of blood rushing to your head.
Yeah, there was. And like I was like, I actually got like, you know, don't recommend trying at home. I actually got hurt doing it. It was like, it's not something that like I would recommend. And I think we've all learned like from that, all of us. And like, but I think there's like no real trickery. And I'm actually hanging upside down, and it was actually very scary and not the most sturdy setup. So I think it's just like all I had to do was like be present in what was actually happening, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, that's the. I mean, even though obviously now that we would accomplish that very differently with all the knowledge that we have, but that to me is what's the most fun about stunts, is that it forces you to be very, very present, and you have to be in the moment, otherwise you're gonna get hurt or someone else is gonna get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, there's been times like since like what we've learned, and honestly like in my own stuff training and stuff work and what I've learned from Jenna and like their vast experience in this is like how to kind of check in and be present, and so that like you don't get hurt going forward, you know. And now there's times where like I feel really confident in saying like, no, we can't. I gotta restart. I have to do this, or like, and I also love the payoff. I'm sure the payoff that when you know you got something because you were all so in it. And like it's such an adrenaline rush, you know.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.